Hey, thanks for stopping by. My name's Thomas, and this is Zarbo Audio Projects. If you're into DIY audio, there are two main things you end up doing a lot of. Woodworking, I do that in my basement, and electronics work. I do that up here in what we've dubbed the hobby room. It's more than just where I solder together radios and speakers though. It's also where I film many of the segments for these videos, store all the parts that I need to have on hand to work with, and it's also where I edit my videos. It's not a big room and there's a lot going on in here, so I have to get a little creative with how I use the space, and it can get a little cluttered. After my last project, I realized that I needed more room on my workbench. Then something happened. By luck, I happened to see that Harbor Freight Tools had an item on sale that just might help me with this. So keep watching and I'll show you how I made a bunch more space on my workbench by getting things that don't need to be there up and out of the way. Well, if you're like me, you probably enjoy scrolling through the Harbor Freight Tools sales flyers. Sometimes you can get a really good idea for a non-standard use from a particular item, just like I did one day when I came across a coupon for this. It's an Armstrong TV wall mount kit. It's only $16 normally, but as you can see, they sometimes go on sale for as low as $10. I'm not going to use it to mount a TV though. I'm going to use it to mount a pair of Neo Nano speakers on the wall. As you can see, it pivots and tilts, and it can hold 66 pounds, far more than these speakers weigh. And implementing them should create a lot more usable space on the bench for working on stuff. First, I need to mount the TV bracket to the side of the speakers with some 1/2 inch lath screws. I'm not being super scientific about this. There are a lot of screw holes in the mount. I'm just picking several of them spread around to where I think it will hold the speakers up easily. Now I need to find a stud in the wall so I can secure that side of the mount. Then pre-drill and then lag bolt them right to the wall. I should mention that this TV mounting kit comes with all the hardware you could possibly need to mount this to basically any wall type. As far as location, I wanted them to remain basically in the corner area so they could be tucked away somewhat. The right one especially benefits from being pivotable since it sort of impedes access to my on-wall parts bins. I can just move it aside when I need to get some LEDs or resistors or whatever from those bins. Maybe flux capacitors. I'm not sure. I never did label them. I took a measurement down from the ceiling to make sure that both mounts were at approximately the same height. Now that both of the speakers are mounted up and out of the way of my counter, I can use the third TV mount to get my little DVD player out of the way. The part of the mount that attaches to the TV is just too big to use as is. I need to cut that down a bit. And because this is America, next I cut a scrap of wood to mount the TV plate to. It's just a piece of 3/4 inch MDF, approximately the size of the cut down TV plate. Then I outlined the basic shape of my DVD player and cut out a shelf about that size out of 1/2 inch plywood. This is all scrap stuff I had laying around. Don't laugh, but I did a rough and ready roundover on my stationary belt sander for this. Hey, these are industrial furnishings after all, no need to get too fussy. So let's see how this will fit together. I would like a little extra strength on the joint between the two wood pieces, so I'll throw a few dowels in there for insurance. I drilled 2 holes for 3/8 inch dowels through the back of the plywood shelf. Then I inserted some dowel centering pins into the shelf and carefully aligned, then pressed the shelf with its pins into the end grain of the small MDF piece. Those indents show exactly where the center of the dowel should be. Drill those holes, cut a standard 3/8 inch dowel in half. Boy, the big guy's getting fancy lately. Then glue them together with a few clamps, checking to make sure we've got a 90-degree right angle there. Off camera, I added that little 45-degree angle brace right there, and I painted the whole shebang black to match the TV mount. Next, I attached the fully assembled TV mount to the back of the DVD shelf with the same 1/2 inch lath screws. I located the nearest stud to where I wanted the shelf and drilled those 2 mounting holes. Then I screwed in the lag bolts and done. Now that I'm finished, why don't I give you a little look around the room, both before and after this project. You can see just how much neater and roomier the counter is now that I got the speakers and DVD player out of the way. Of course, I cleaned things up a bit too, but moving the speakers to the walls really opened things up, I think. Maybe this quick project would inspire you to brainstorm a few things you can do to make your work area neater, nicer, and more productive. Well, what do you think? Was it worth all that work to get these speakers and CD player up off the counter surface? Keep in mind, I only spent $30 on this whole revamp. Personally, I'm pleased with how it came out, and now I have more room to work when a project needs to be done. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this little look behind the scenes of my YouTube set. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.